trucks you see in and around town. Find what makes each food truck unique in its own way, from the food they serve to how it's prepared in their custom manufactured truck. Food Truck Talks, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Sponsored by Prestige Food Trucks.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
All right, 6 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Last night we went to an event, a meeting for the Special Olympics, and the lady in charge of it looks like she is of Chinese descent. I would think. I'm guessing Maria is Chinese, and she had ordered some sushi and stuff, yes, right. And it is something like and they were using chopsticks, but they're not Chinese, they're American, and it's just that's their culture. It's just like in my family when I was a kid, I had my grandparents were German, and so there was a lot of German culture, I guess, that was part of my experience, even though I wasn't German. I grew up in New York, but it's just part of our experience. There's a commercial, I think it was a commercial for something, I don't remember what it was for, but there's a young man on a bicycle and he meets this pretty young girl in the park, and she looks like she's got Asian descent in her, and he goes to her, "Oh, where are you from?" And she said, "San Diego." And he goes, No, I mean, where are you really from?" And she goes, "I'm really from San Diego." And I guess she's tired of hearing that, and probably something that a lot of Asian descent people go through.
Yeah.
But we live in the melting pot of the melting pot. The United States is the melting pot. Florida is the melting pot of the melting pot.
Exactly.
You could argue that so is New York, so is San Diego, so is probably so many other parts of this country. We have a lady on the phone who wants to talk about multicultural living and the fact that we have that here, which I think is beautiful. She also happens to be a talented novelist. So we've got kind of two topics to talk about. Her book is called The Accidental Wife. I can't wait to find out what that title means. She is Dr. Simi K. Rao. She's a physician. She immigrated from India in her early 20s, it says here. She enjoys exploring the dynamics of contemporary American culture blended with Indian customs and heritage. And so let's just say hello to Dr. Rao. Good morning, Doctor.
Hello, namaste, ni hao, bonjour.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! What did you say? I heard bonjour. What else did you say?
Hello.
I said ni hao. That is hello in Chinese.
Ni hao.
Namaste is hello in Hindi, which is the national language of India.
Say it again. How do you say it again in Hindi?
Namaste. It's a greeting.
Namaste. Okay, nice.
Namaste. It's Namaste.
Namaste.
So it's saying hello in Hindi.
I one time tried to figure out what word I know in the most languages. Is it no? Or is it 1, 2, 3? Like, can I count 1, 2, 3? How many languages can I count in? Or goodbye? Or well, wow! Thank you for introducing yourself that way. That was unique. Nobody's done that before.
Well, as you're talking about being multicultural and America being a multicultural nation and basically a melting pot of peoples from across the world, I think it's important that all of us make an effort to learn a different languages, greet somebody, say, as you said, of Chinese descent in their own language, and that'll certainly win us a smile. So it's a little step we take that goes a long way.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. The interesting thing is this. I always feel bad for the African-American population because they were brought here, not every one of them, and so don't get me wrong, but they were brought here primarily as slaves. So we don't really know their nationality. We only know the continent they're from, not the country that they can trace their roots to. And so they kind of miss out on this. Like I can trace mine to Germany. You can trace yours to India.
Right.
But they have to go for the whole continent. They don't know Kenya. Like, well, the president knows Kenya in his case.
Yeah, he knows.
So
that's right. He was there not that long ago.
Yeah.
I went to Quebec once with my son. And I was kind of embarrassed by something I witnessed, and let me tell you what it was. In Quebec, as you know, they speak French, and I tried my best to learn a few phrases and to kind of fit in. And I was sitting there, and this was a campground, but I was in the main building where people come and register. And a guy came in and he said, "Oh man, you got any empty spaces? I need to put my tent." I'm thinking, why can't you at least try? Can't you at least say bonjour first? I mean,
That's right.
something.
Right.
I mean, just something. You have to just start in with assuming that. I mean, they did know English, so that wasn't really the problem. But I would think they would be respectful to at least try. You know.
Yes, and it's the same thing. Like we were in Paris like 2 weeks ago for a very, very short vacation, and we were told when of course, we try to read up a little bit of the country before we go there, and they said that, French are extremely proud. They won't speak to you in English no matter how hard you try. But then we realized that all it takes is just a couple of words, like I said, and then they know English. They will speak to you in that language. Maybe they're a little shy because they're afraid they may be pronouncing the words wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody is, that proud that they won't make an attempt to communicate with you.
Any reasonable person. I mean, you might have some, people who are just stubborn, but I mean, most reasonable people will give it a shot,
And we were pleasantly surprised with a lot of people who, were very happy if I say, bonjour or merci, or, they're willing to talk to you and, help you out with.
And and your life is so much more enriched when you do that. Robin and I, because of doing a radio show, and we've done it forever, but we knew a lady who was she was from India, and she was a dancer, and she was beautiful, and she was married to a doctor, so she was rich, and they invited us to her show. She did a dance recital or whatever you call that at the local theater.
Yeah.
And
that's right, and my daughter is going to do that next year. So
is that right?
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah.
But there was so much to this show that it was had religious significance, and there was symbolism up there that I wouldn't have known had they not explained it to me.
I mean, there is cultures. I feel is not just religious; it's also
the food, the music,
a lot of non-religious things which everybody can enjoy.
Yeah.
If even if you don't belong to that faith. It's just, all it takes is opening up your mind and accepting that, it's not just one religion in the entire world. It's multiple religions.
Absolutely.
And we need to, if we have to survive, we have to live with everybody. And there's no other choice.
When you came over here in your early 20s, were you already pursuing a medical degree, or is that something you pursued when you came here?
I was already a doctor, and I, basically I came here to do my advanced degree. This country is a place to do advanced degrees, and so yes, I was already a physician, and it's just. I was here to do my post-graduation. And
so is novelist something new on your resume? Oh, I just went to your website. Yes. Oh, my goodness, you're a pretty lady. I just went to your website. I'm sorry, I was distracted by your photo. You're Robin knew you'd be. Robin knew I'd have that reaction. Yeah. I'm looking at you now.
Oh, so you just got onto my website. Oh. Yeah, somebody helped me. It was a pretty bad website. But
a bad website? Oh, this looks like a good website. Contact Simi.
No, it got refurbished.
Oh, it's a good one now. Yeah.
So, I'm somebody who hates the camera. I mean, who hates to come in front of the camera. So
really?
I like to be behind it and take pictures, and that's what I do. Plus all the other miscellaneous things.
Namaste. Namaste? I'm looking at Namaste. Is that how you say it?
Yes, namaste.
I'm going to remember that. Namaste. Whenever we have a discussion about the most popular restaurants in this town, Ocala, you're not going to believe this, maybe, or maybe you will, but it's always the Indian restaurant. There's an Indian restaurant here.
Yep.
It's always number one on the list.
Always.
I haven't.
So that's what I say. You like Indian food. Why don't you learn an Indian term? And then.
Well, now I know one. Namaste.
You're enriched, you're a little, you're one step more than the next person, and, and it just takes a few more steps each time. Learn when you drink chai tea at Starbucks, maybe you want to figure out what they put in it, and why.
Oh, my.
What is that dessert called? It's like, it looks almost like a munchkin from Dunkin' Donuts, but it's in a little glass. Well, that's how it was served to us.
Is it Gulab Jamuns, or is it brown in color?
Yeah, and it was like in syrup.
Yes, that's called Gulab Jamun. It's made of, say, milk, like milk. It's all our desserts are milk based.
Made of milk. Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't eat cows, but you drink milk.
We are vegetarians. We are not vegans.
Okay.
I'm a vegetarian, but there are lots of many people who eat meat in India.
I know, but they don't eat cows. Aren't cows?
It's a religious
forbidden.
I mean, it's not all Indians don't eat cows, but a lot of Indians don't.
Mm-hmm.
I hardly eat cows. I mean, very rarely.
Did you find any kind of adversity when you came over to the United States and you were pursuing your advanced degree? Did you feel like you were unwelcome?
No, I did not feel that. Maybe it's the profession I was in. I don't know, because medical profession is very multicultural. There are lots of not just Indians but Chinese and lots of people of different communities who pursue the medical, be doctors. And now all of us are pretty mature, I think.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Right. That we.
Right. Well, plus, once you get to know somebody, I mean, doesn't all of that other stuff disappear?
Yes, I think so, and that's what I'm saying. That just recently I came across a quote from Pope Francis, and he says, God is not afraid of new things. That is why He's continually surprising us, opening our hearts, and guiding us in unexpected ways. And I would say the same thing holds true for being multicultural. You should not be afraid of new things, and you have to open your minds. So if a neighbor moves in who doesn't, next door, who doesn't, who looks a little different, speaks a different language, eats different food, you shouldn't be afraid to, extend a hand of friendship, and that's the first step.
And I appreciate the sushi, but I'm not going to eat it.
And also, at the same time, you don't have to accept everything. You can have differences, but at the same time, it's important to respect that, yes, there exists, people from different lands, people who follow different cultures, speak different languages, and there may be something there that you may like and you may adopt for yourself.
Like Ravi Shankar.
That's right.
When George Harrison when the Beatles went to, you're too young for this probably, but that was my introduction to that whole new music, that whole line of instruments. I didn't even know.
George Harrison is one of my favorite singers, and I love his, that song he sang, for the, what's that, with Ravi Shankar.
Bangladesh.
Oh, the Bangladesh song?
Yes.
Oh, yes. The song
that
Bangladesh.
About the Lord.
My Sweet Lord.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and he uses all these Hindu gods, and he chants and he actually blends in every I think.
Right.
Yes, and it's such a beautiful song. It has such a so much depth of meaning in it. My sweet Lord, I'm trying to figure out where you are and how do I get to you?
Right.
And I mean, it really affects me whenever I hear it, and that's it. That's how it should be.
Right.
Being multicultural, you should not, say, pull out a gun and try to shoot your neighbor because he looks different.
We had a discussion one time about which musical instrument I'd love to. Robin and I are both musicians, so we had this discussion. What musical instrument have you never played that you'd love to get your hands on? And it would be a sitar. I've never even touched a sitar. I don't even know where.
And I know. I think even Rolling Stones, they have a couple of songs with the sitar in it, and it's very much like it sounds like the guitar. And I think there are lots of people who can play sitar on the guitar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, make it sound like.
Oh man, not really.
Guitar.
Do you know?
So,
Have you ever seen Ravi Shankar's daughter?
Oh yeah, she's gorgeous.
Oh man, oh man! If you didn't like that music before, when you heard just Ravi playing it, oh man, you like it after. Can I ask?
Anushka Shankar, yes.
What is her name?
Anushka. Anushka Shankar.
Yeah. Dr. Simi K. Rao is on the phone, and we didn't get to talk to you about your book, so we'll do that when we come back. The book is called The Accidental Wife. I can't wait to find out what that's about, but I've loved the conversation so far. Let's take a little break, and we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, more clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm around, especially this afternoon. It could lead to localized flooding. The high today, 86 to 90. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, those 72 to 76. More clouds and sun tomorrow with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm or two around, mainly during the afternoon hours, high 86 to 90. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
If you're anything like I was, the thought of getting older was the last thing on your mind. But here we are. For me, it started slowly. The lack of energy, never being in the mood, and when I was, I could never perform at my best. I tried the pills and other treatments with minimal results, and all but given up on my sex life. Then, I found the doctors at New Male Medical Center. Wow, they made a new male out of me. Feel like I'm 25 again. I have renewed vigor, so much more energy, and no longer worry about my performance. New Male treated me like my situation was one of a kind, with a custom treatment plan that really works. I feel great. They can create one for you too. It does not matter if you suffer from low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, or just want to last longer. New Male will help you.
Call New Male Medical Center today at 352-404-4779. 352-404-4779. That's 352-404-4779. It will change your life. 352-404-4779.
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
All right, 22 minutes after 10 o'clock. Gosh, we're having such a great conversation. Don't you love this one?
I do.
Dr. Simi K. Rao is on the phone. And are you in Denver, Doctor?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I can't remember if I asked you that or not, but I saw it in your bio here. So tell me about the Accidental Wife. That's your second novel?
Yes, it's my second novel. My first novel was about an arranged marriage.
I wanted to ask you about that too. But go ahead. Tell me about this book.
Okay, this is about essentially about an Indian American doctor. He's as a lot of young Indian Americans moved to this country when he moved here with his family when he was 5, and then he went on to become a neurosurgeon, and then like a lot of Indians do, they men and women, they live, even though they are about 18, they'll continue to live with their family till they get married, and his mother orders him basically to find himself a wife, or she would find one for him. In a bind. He's married. He's married to his profession, and he hates being ordered around. That's pretty usual.
I would pretend.
Married.
I would pay somebody. Would you just tell my mother you're married to me? That's it. I'll pay you $10.
And basically, what he does, he wouldn't ever marry a girl his mother finds for him. So he basically try to get out of that bind and try to find a wife in quotes who would not interfere with his work. And he does that. He tries to do it over the internet, and he tries to find a girl in India. And basically, what follows is a comedy of errors, and it's basically what it begins out as a fun book, but then something unexpected happens, and finally he learns that it's a wife is not a plaything, or she is somebody who could potentially make your wife, make your life worth living, and so essentially he falls in love with his accidental wife, and it's a fun book, and
is it like a romantic comedy?
Twists and turns.
Is it a romantic comedy?
It starts out as a comedy, and then it ends up in a more serious, profound note. So it's a mix of everything, all kinds of emotions. More not really like a Bollywood movie.
Bollywood movies have lots of singing in them.
Yeah,
yeah. It starts out as a Bollywood movie, but ends in a more serious note. So, but it's fun.
Oh my goodness! I guess if we ask you who he ends up with, we'll be spoiling the book, huh?
Yes. It's not. You wouldn't guess what happens. You couldn't guess what happens.
Okay, so we'll have to read the book then. So you are selling your book very well, doctor. What kind of medicine do you practice?
I'm an internist, internal medicine, and
so you could be my doctor.
I used to be in practicing clinic medicine, but then I moved on to hospital medicine. So now I'm always just work in the hospital.
So what I wanted to ask you about the arranged marriages. If you are the daughter of an immigrant Indian couple, let's say,
right,
or the son, I guess, for either or.
Right.
I would think that because you're so Americanized, you might be resistant to that arranged marriage thing. Am I right?
That is true. That's very, very true. And that does happen, especially, like you said, you're brought up in this culture, and you're afforded the freedom to move around, the peoples of different cultures, and not necessarily Indians, because arranged marriage is not just being married to an Indian. It's what the parents do is try to find a match, not just like the social match, a person who can who has guaranteed income that they can take care of you. Also, people who move in the same circles, so language, states. So there are lots of things involved, and they're not just Indian.
An Indian dad would have never picked me. He's in radio. Never mind.
So yes, a lot of Indian kids here tend to marry, people from other cultures, and the parents are fine with it, mostly. And all they want to know is that, hey, you are genuine. You're not somebody who, and I think the Indian kids are good enough to say, they want to introduce their future mates to their parents, so get an agreement that may be sometimes reluctant that yes, this person is good for you, and so it all ends up well. And everybody generally participates in the.
You have given us such a wonderful perspective on things. The dancer that Larry was referring to, her marriage was arranged, and they both seemed very, very happy.
Oh, he lucked out. That guy was lucky. Yeah, I don't know how lucky she was, but he was lucky. Let me tell you, that guy, his parents did a good job with him.
And it's true. Sometimes you like wonder how come these two ended up together, and sometimes it's
I wonder that with everybody. I look out the window and I say, how did he get her? I see that all the time. Doesn't make sense to me. Doctor, thank you for being on the air with us. I've loved the conversation. I already know the website because I went to it. It's her Dr. Simi's name and then .com. So it's Simi, S-I-M-I-K, the letter K. Rao is R-A-O, so SimiKRao.com. Robin actually makes it easy for the listeners, Doctor. She has your website already on the guest list, so our listeners can go there to look you up. Are the books on Amazon, etc.?
Yes, they're on Amazon, so all you need to is either Google my name, look for my name, or look for one of the book titles, and they will, automatically you can get to the other book also.
And if you look at the video that we just made of this interview, you'll be able to see it as well. Dr. Rao, thank you so much. That was great. We'll be right
Yeah,
back.
it was wonderful talking to you, Larry and Robin.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. Investigators could be closing in on some answers in the search for the Malaysian airliner, which disappeared almost 17 months ago.
Overnight, a sea-crusted wing fragment washed up on the island of Réunion off the